In this video, we'll talk about component communication using Pubsub module. Pubsub stands for publishing and subscribing, and this is one of the most commonly used design pattern. So till now, we have seen in the previous video how we can communicate from parent component to the child component and child component to parent component. But now we have a scenario in which we want to communicate from one independent component to another independent component. And there are two ways to communicate between independent component. First is the Pubsub and the second is the Lightning Message Service. Pubsub is JavaScript standardized way and Lightning Messaging Service is a Salesforce standardized way. Lightning Messaging Service recently introduced. Pubsub we were using from the starting of the LWC, but now Salesforce or all the new projects are starting with the Lightning Messaging Service. But I'm explaining you the Pubsub as well because some of the old projects are still using the Pubsub design pattern, and it's an old technique to use in the Lightning Web Component. So this video is more specific to Pubsub. In the future video, we'll talk about Lightning Messaging Service. So let's go and see how Pubsub works. Let's go to our VS Code and let's create a web component, and we'll give this name Pubsub. And now my component is ready. I'll convert this component to a service component. Service component is a component in which you just write the JavaScript, you don't write the HTML. So I'll delete this HTML and I'll clean up my JS file, and here I'm gonna write my publish or Pubsub design pattern or a code for the Pubsub module. And to understand the Pubsub, you need to understand first thing, somebody going to subscribe, somebody going to publish, and somebody going to unsubscribe. So this publishing Pubsub is similar to your phone plans. Somebody going to subscribe it, somebody will call you and you will cut the call, something like that. So I'll paste the code here, okay, because this is a library sort of, and Salesforce also provide, but I have written my own, and then I'll explain you. So I created a object called store. So this is the object that's gonna store my whole data. Then I created a method subscribe. This subscribe method will take an event and the callback. Event name is the name that you want to subscribe basically, and callback is the method that you want to call once somebody publish something to this event name. And what we are doing in the JavaScript here is we're checking whether that event name is already available in the store or not. If it's not available, just store in the object. So if you call something like this, subscribe 0 to hero, and you will pass a function here, something like this. So what will happen is this 0 to hero will come as an event name, and this function will come as a callback, okay, and that will store into the store. And to store that, how it gonna store it, it will take the store object and it will say 0 to hero should store like this. So we are storing the event name and the value as the callback function. So that's what we are trying to achieve here. I'll remove this. That's how our subscribe function works. To unsubscribe, we are just checking which event name you want to unsubscribe. You will pass the event name, will go to the store and say, hey, if you have any event name like this, if yes, then it will go and delete the callback. And to publish, what it gonna do, it will say, okay, what's your event name you want to publish and what's the data that you want to pass. For the event name, it will go to the store and take that event name and checks if that somebody is subscribing to that event name. If yes, it will go to the store, run the loop and pick up all the callbacks of the event name, those who are subscribing to it, and it will call their callback and pass the data that you are publishing. This code you will get in your resources. It's very simple and it's a plain JavaScript, and we are exporting three methods: subscribe, unsubscribe, and publish. Now we have to use these methods in our Lightning Web Component to communicate. So let's create two more Lightning Web Component. We'll say Pubsub component A, my first component, and the second component I'm gonna create Pubsub component B. Now I have two components here, and in the both component, first thing I'm gonna create a card and the padding. So I'll go to the component A, I'll create a card and say Pubsub demo component A, and I'll close this and I'll close this card. Similarly, I'll copy the whole thing and paste it into our component B. I'll say Pubsub demo component B. And in this particular demo, what I'm gonna do is component A gonna publish something and component B gonna subscribe it. To use the Pubsub, we have to import that library into our package or into our component. And to import that, what we're gonna do is we'll say import Pubsub from C, because C is our namespace, C slash Pubsub. That's our folder name. Similarly, I'll import this into the other component as well. So both component needs it. Now what we have to do is one component A gonna publish it. So from component A, we're gonna create an input field where we type our message. We'll say input type, or we can create a lightning input. We'll say type equal to text, and we'll say on key up, you will call a input handler, and we can give some class here so that the button that we create below the input, it should not touch it. So I'll say slds margin bottom, size medium, and my input is ready. And below this input, what I'm gonna do is I'll create a button, and for that I'll again use the lightning button, and I'll say variant, and the variant should be brand, and then what we can do is, and let's add a click handler to this button. We'll say on click of this button, call the publish handler, and we can give a label to this button. We'll say publish, and let's close this. So now we have a button, we have a input. Let's go and create this method that we have written here. So first method is input handler. So input handler gets called, it will receive an event and will store the message in a message property. So we'll create a property called message, and we'll say this dot message equal to event dot target dot value. And the second method we have written here is a publish handler, and this will gets called whenever we have to publish some message. So we'll come back to this thing. Now the component B is going to subscribe the detail. So first thing what we want is some component should subscribe to our channel. So I'll come back to the component B and create here. First I'll say on load of the component itself, it should subscribe. So to onload, if we have to call something, we'll use connected callback, and here I'll say this dot call subscriber, and call subscriber is a method that we're gonna create now. And I'll say call subscriber equal to, we imported the pubsub, so we'll say pubsub dot subscribe. So subscribe is a method that we have created inside the Pubsub module, and we already know it will receive an event name and the callback. So I'll say I want to subscribe a event that name is component A, and it should receive a message here. So I'll create a function that will receive a message, and I'll say message, and whatever the message I'll receive, I'll store into a message property, and I'll say this dot message equal to message. So if somebody publish this event component A, the message will come and store in the message, and the message we're gonna publish or we're gonna show on the screen. And for that I'll say message received, and the message I'm going to print it here. So the somebody is publishing now. Now our component A has to subscribe. Component A has to publish. Somebody is already subscribing. So let's go to component A and publish that. And to publish, the technique is very same. So we'll say pubsub dot publish, and we say I want to publish an event component A and the message I want to pass. So which message I want to pass? I want a message that I have typed in the input field, and that message will get passed. So that's how it works. Let me repeat it again. I have created a Pubsub.js. This is a service component. It has three methods: subscribe, unsubscribe, or publish. Publish take an event name and the data that you want to pass. Subscribe take the event name and a function to which you want to call when somebody publish. And unsubscribe will take the event name and the function that you want to unsubscribe. So we created two components, component A and component B. Component A has an input field and a button, and on click of that button we are publishing an event called component A, and we are passing the message whatever we type in the input field. And similarly in component B, what we are doing is on load we are subscribing it. So we are using connected callback for the on load. We are subscribing the component A event, and there is a callback function that gets called when somebody publish it. So let's deploy this and see how it works. Now I'm running the command sftx force source push. So now it's deployed. Let's go to our app. So I'm in my app 0 to hero component communication page. I'll go to gear icon and edit the page. And we missed one thing, that is our Pubsub components we haven't exposed. So let's go back to our VS Code and go to the component A and set is exposed to true, and we'll set the target as app page. Similarly, go to the component B Pubsub and paste the same thing, is exposed true and target lightning app page. Let's deploy this again. Now it's deployed. Let's go and refresh the page again. I'm refreshing the lightning app builder only. So now on the left hand side, let's search our component, that is Pubsub component A. The Pubsub component A, I'll place it in the center, and Pubsub B, I'll place it in the right hand side. So let's hit save and go back. So my both component is placed perfectly. Now I have a input field. Here I'll say hello, and if I say publish or click publish, it should send hello to a received message or component B. If I click here, right now it didn't receive anything. Let's go and inspect it. Let's see if there is any error in the console or not. So it's saying cannot set message of undefined. So it means our publish is not able to send the message. Let's look into it. And it's saying cannot set property of message of undefined. It means our message is wrong somewhere. So let's go back to our component B who is subscribing it. And here the problem is we are using function inside a function basically. So there this scope gets over. So what we can do is either we can create a function outside, or what we can do is we can convert this function to a arrow function where our this will handle the scope so that our message will be available. Right now what's happening here is this is undefined. Undefined dot undefined is an error, so that's why the error is coming. Let's deploy this now and see if it's working or not. So it's deployed. Let's go and refresh the page. Now let's try this. Hello from component A. Let's publish it. Now you can see immediately it received the data and print it on the screen. So same approach you can do it with the component B. Component B will publish and component A will receive the data. You can try it yourself. If you face any issue, you can ask in the queries. So I'll love to help you guys, and that's your task, to learn or to explore more about Pubsub. And yeah, that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next video.